UFC Vegas 114. We are live. Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. We're going to go through all the best bets on DraftKings and other books. We're going to put together all of our plays. We might build some parlays. And I'll try to give you again my main thoughts. I'm not going to break down the fights in detail, but I'll just go through the lines, sort of what catch my eye. If you like a certain side, I'll tell you what to play, and we'll go through the list there. So I always try to figure out if you want to start from the top or go from the bottom. But I see that DraftKings starts from the top, so we'll do that, and then we'll go through the card that way. So starting with the main event, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. Again, we watched this one, we tape studied it. If you're playing a money line, again, I think the money line on Vallejos is probably the right side. I do think it's a little bit steep at minus 550, but Emmett is kind of like a big bonk or bust sort of thing, and Vallejos has multiple ways of winning and stuff like that. So I might even consider like a spread bet here. So let's see, because I had talked about like even the 5.5, but I can see. Let me just look at all the lines here. So Vallejos minus 9.5, 7.5 minus 235. I think that he wins inside the distance. It's coming up, so maybe we'll keep an eye on this if this line gets better. Honestly, we might be able to get a live line, and we might not be able to or have to force it right now because again, Josh Emmett, his best round is probably going to be round one. So again, you don't need to force it. We might be able to get a live line there, and I don't know if he bonks him right away. I think it's probably into the later rounds, but I think he should find a finish. It's a smaller cage. Vallejos comes forward again. It sort of depends on how Josh Emmett tries to approach the fight. If he comes forward with forward aggression and he just meets Vallejos in the middle, or he's the one playing Matador on the outside and not really looking to engage. So I think you'll find out, within the first minute or two, the game plan of Josh Emmett, and then sort of will the fight end sooner rather than later, sort of thing. But I like Vallejos on the money line. I do think that he wins by knockout. Again, we saw that he didn't really want to do anything to do with the ground. So knockouts plus 110. It's okay. But I think if you're playing, so knockouts plus 110, you could take inside the distance instead. It's 30 cents difference. Again, he probably doesn't look for a submission, but the odds are so close that why burn yourself if he does find a submission. So I probably go minus 120 inside the distance instead of plus 110. That's how I sort of think. And then so now you're sitting at minus 120 Vallejos inside the distance. Then it's whether or not you want to get cute with some kind of like alt spreads and stuff, right? Again, the minus 13.5 is minus 160. If it goes to decision, I can see him winning like a 49-46, even a 48-47 maybe, if Josh Emmett has a big round or two. The minus 5, and it's just a lot of juice to pay. 235 to 160. There's not a lot of difference between the minus 5.5 and the 13.5, if I'm being honest. It's the 9.5 is key, the 3.5 is key. Those are key numbers. Vallejos, where's the 9.5 this way? Yeah, within the 5.5, it's a little bit better, but again, finish only. I think, if you like Emmett's side, you probably want to take like Emmett finish only or even Emmett KO only, because I really don't see him winning a lot of minutes here. So like Vallejos decision only is probably all right. I know it's super juiced, but minus 550 for decision only. First round only, I wouldn't touch, because again, Emmett has the biggest equity, I think, round one. Submission only, I don't really know. I don't really see either guy really attempting many submissions here, so probably a wash anyway. But yeah, all of these numbers are super juiced. So you're really looking at inside the distance or not, right? And then if you look at like goes the distance, minus 170, right? And then the other one was winning method, fight ends by KO. So yeah, if you take a look here between Vallejos inside the distance minus 120 and then fight ends by KO minus 125, Honestly, I think I'd rather have fight ends by KO because then you get all of Emmett's win equity as well, right? Whereas this one, the submission really doesn't add too much for me. I'd rather have all of Emmett's side at KO equity than Vallejos submission equity for almost the same price, right? So then I remove the Vallejos inside the distance and I'm left with KO, right? And then if you want to play a total, you're sort of looking at a 3.5, but almost of the same price, right? So now you're comparing ends by KO and the under 3.5. Again, almost the same price. I think I'd rather have ends by KO because the under 3.5, you get Emmett sub, you get Vallejo sub 1, 2, 3, right? And Emmett sub 1, 2, 3, but I don't think that they're that high. With the KO, you get the latter half of round 4 and round 5 as well, additional equity on KO. So I think ends by KO is probably the way to go. I'm not saying that it's not possible to go to decision. It is, but I think it should be in terms of 50-50 at the line minus 125. I'd bet ends by KO a lot more. It probably ends by KO 60 to 65 to 70% of the time. Goes to decision, like 25, and then ends by sub like 5% sort of thing. So I think that there's good value on ends by KO, and that's the only thing that I'd really play there. You could eat a little bit more juice and take doesn't go, but now you're comparing 45 cents to Emmett sub, Vallejo sub. But in terms of the value, I think ends by KO is okay at minus 125. I didn't see that they had some totals here. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. So takedown right away, like I'm my gut reaction is tempted to play the under, but I do know that, both guys could look to grapple at some point. I don't think that's really part of the game plan. You won't see them come out and shoot right away. But I do think that in a scramble or something, or if they get close, or one guy's hurt, that they look for a takedown, and so nothing really jumping. I don't want to gamble and say he's going to get hurt and then shoot for the takedown, but I also don't want to play the under and get burned by Kevin Vallejos is a lot of pressure. Don't like the pressure. One way to relieve the pressure is takedowns and stuff. So I could see it both ways. Again, nothing super sticking out for the under there. Significant strikes. I do. Again, this is both strikers, both guys smaller cage. Vallejos kind of nuts with his significant strikes, so I can see this going over. But the problem is that we have fight ends by KO, and now we're asking for the over and fight by ends by KO. We might consider it maybe for a ladder. I got to see the numbers and check again, but you're sort of contradictory in terms of what we played KO and then the significant strike totals. But I would bet. But with nothing there, I would bet the over rather than the under on Vallejos because he has all those kicks as well. Josh Emmett's not a huge volume guy; he just spams those right hands, and he's the slower he goes, things like that. So, yeah, I would consider the over here. And then I was looking at these like point spreads, round spreads, and stuff like that. Like, I think that Vallejos should be a favorite to win all of the rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if Emmett wins one of the rounds. Which one of them, I don't know. I would assume that it's going to be early rounds 1 or 2 is his favorable rounds because I know Vallejos is going to go to the legs quite a bit with the outside low kick, and I think Emmett's going to be wobbled, limping by rounds 3, 4, 5 if it still gets there. So I think Vallejos should have the edge into the later rounds. We just haven't seen him go 5 rounds, so I'm not willing to say like super confident Vallejos is going to have better cardio into round 5 and such either, but he should just based on attritional damage, things like that. So yeah, unfortunately, that's the only thing that I would consider playing just based on the numbers is ends by KO. I don't know if you can play the money line. I'll be looking for a live line, and then maybe you can build out a same game parlay. Let me just quickly check. Vallejos, I think I looked at this. Vallejos in the over, half round, 425. 215. It's still pretty juice for over 1.5 rounds. I don't want to sit there with an over ticket here. So, yeah, that's it. Moving on. Amanda Lemos, Jillian Robertson. We're pretty heavy on this one. And I could be completely wrong, but I don't think that Jillian Robertson finishes Lemos, and that's where most of the bets are coming from. That I think that Lemos on the money line is probably the value side. I think that she can win round three at a pretty high clip, so the plus 3.5 is not bad, because at very least I think that Lemos is going to do some damage at some point, that it's enough to win a round at some point in the fight. For the plus 3.5 not to cover, Jillian Robertson obviously has to finish and find the sub, or win a dominating decision. But Lemos fights close to a lot of these grapplers. Suarez, Weili, Dern, like, she's competitive and stuff, and she can get up from bottom. And Jillian Robertson is such a statue on the feet that Lemos has a huge striking advantage. And we all see that scoring criteria goes towards damage versus control. So I think at some point Lemos is going to do damage in the fight, and I think it goes to decision. So I like the Lemos plus 3.5. If you getting a little bit crazy and you want to take the money line, that's fine. She can win 2 rounds instead of 3 rounds. That's the main difference between the money line and the point spread there. So if you do like the plus 3.5, you'll also like, and I don't mind it here, fight lines, the point spread here, the alt point spread here. No, the other way. Lemos plus 7.5 is minus 200. It's moved a little bit, I think, but it's basically not Jillian Robertson inside the distance. Now, I know it's risky, because a lot of people are thinking that Jillian Robertson's just going to take her down and submit her and stuff, and it's possible, but I think that at very least Lemos should be able to survive. You see Jillian Robertson by finish is plus 200, not is minus 275, so they're almost the same line, but you lose on a 30-27, so compare about the 75 cents if you want to get a parlay piece or something like that, because if you take goes to decision, Lemos can crack her, right? And Lemos can finish her on the feet, and you would lose by taking goes to decision. The plus 7.5 covers you if Lemos finishes her on the feet or submits her or whatever it is. You get a little bit more safety net than just fight goes. But I think we took a little bit of fight goes minus 145. Again, I think that there's going to be a lot of stalling, Robertson looking for the takedowns, but I think it could look minus 500 either way. If Robertson gets the takedown and can control her on the ground, then Robertson probably looks minus 500 with just based on control. Lemos can't get off her back, and just dominating performance from bell to bell. But if Robertson can't get the takedowns, or if Lemos can get back up, then Lemos could look like minus 500, just picking her apart at range and not even getting close to the takedowns. Suarez was struggling with some of those takedowns until Lemos, jumped guillotine and gave her the takedown. Yes, I know that when Lemos is on bottom, flat on the bottom, it's a lot harder for her to get up. But yeah, I think that she's good enough to survive ground. I don't know if she's going to win the fight, because I think that she could lose a decision. But that's why I kind of like the Lemos finish only. That was a lot better at 2-something on Rivers. Decision only for Jillian Robertson. If you like her on the money line, I would play her decision only, because that's probably, she has more decision equity. KO equity minus, Lemos minus 125 is probably like a gift line for KO only. The only way that Robertson wins by KO is ground and pound, and I don't think it's pick 'em with Lemos standing on the feet here. So I kind of really like this KO only line, but I know that we're pretty invested with Lemos already. Submission only line has to be Robertson. However, Lemos does defend takedowns with submissions. We did play that ninja choke at 100-1. It's just a flyer, but she does look for that neck quite a bit, and she attacks that guillotine quite a bit. It's especially if you shoot for the legs and such like that. So yeah, those are the plays. I think fight goes fighter props. So I didn't see fighter props here. Takedowns. I would lean under takedowns for Lemos. I don't think she wants to get it there, but again, it's one of those situations where she could counter grapple and like end up in a takedown. She uses some trips and ends up on top. Yeah, Robertson 2.5. I'll be interested to see what the ladder is. It kind of depends on the get ups here, right? If it goes to decision, it probably goes over. If she subs it probably goes under. Significant strikes I can't touch because I know that Jillian Robertson wants to grapple, and it could look like Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway, right? So it's tough, right? You have a better striker, volume striker, um, but if they get the grappling game going, then it ruins everything else. So it's kind of like up in the air what you think is going to happen, sort of thing. So if you like the Robertson side again, you could take, yeah, you could take decision or sub. Those are probably the two things, right? You can see decision is juiced to 150, so the odds suggesting that it goes to decision. Therefore, I like the Lemos plus 3.5. Again, I don't think she finishes her, and I'm willing to play that. So, moving on. Kutalaba, Umar C. So we taped this a little bit as well. I think early Kutalaba could find some success. He's just really wild. And one of the problems, and he really struggled against Bukakis in that last fight, is that he does not know how to strike while moving. And we saw it in the Dyer fight as well against Tobias. Kutalaba is one of those guys that just wants to plant, throw, and stay in one position and throw his hands. Whereas C, well, he'll be on the outside. He's a lot longer. He's moving in and out. He's using the footwork and stuff, right? So I think that C is going to land more volume from the outside early. Kutalaba has to time a counter. When C comes in with a jab, then he throws an overhand right or something like that. Does some damage round one. I could see that happening. I think that at some point, though, because Kutalaba is so wild, C will like to clinch him up against the fence, get a takedown, and probably win round one just from control. And that's probably the best case, is just take Kutalaba late, wear on him, make him work to try to get up. It's possible he gets back up, but C should be able to get the grappling. I think that his offensive grappling and Kutalaba's takedown defense makes the difference here. So I like Umar C. I think that, the line favors him the longer it goes. So even if he loses round one, it could be a good live bet spot. As long as C makes Kutalaba work, he can come back and get that thing there. So yeah, Sujit's in the chat. What's up, my boy? Isn't Ion's cardio bad? And that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that Kutalaba could come out and have success round one because he's wild and because he throws big punches and stuff like that. But if C can get the takedown and wear on him, it benefits C into rounds 2 and 3, because that cardio will start to fade. The takedowns will come a lot easier. Kutalaba will not be able to get up from underneath C into the later rounds. So, C to win round 3 is pretty safe, right? That's why I took this round spread. I think Umar C round 3, because I think if it gets there, then he should be a favorite to win the round just from grappling, all that. So, not saying that his cardio is amazing by any means, but I just think it's a little bit better than Kutalaba. And it's the same thing with takedowns here. Kutalaba half, Umar C half. I kind of lean over. I think that there could be takedowns from both sides. And then I don't know what the strikes. The strikes look pretty low, to be honest, at 21 and 28. I do think that Umar C wins. So on a money line pick, I'm going to pick Umar C. And in a method pick, it kind of depends. I think I'm okay with playing decision, because the submission could come. Yes, I think the submission could come, but I think it could come later, like a sub 2-3. So you could sprinkle some C sub 2-3 and play decision, that sort of thing. Kutalaba should be good enough and fresh enough to defend submissions early. And not like C's an amazing high-level BJJ artist. I think that he could just wear on him a little bit more. I think that Kutalaba survives, his cardio gives out, and he probably wins a decision here. So I might play some decision. Let me see what we have so far, because I know we have some money line. Oh, we do have some decision at plus 320. So we had plus 300 now. We played a little bit of money line. We played decision. Okay, so we're good here. I don't think we need to add anything more. I'm not confident on the spread here, because again, I think that Kutalaba could win a round, being round 1. But otherwise, the 7.5 is not bad if I'm thinking about it, because again, Kutalaba has to win round 1, but if he doesn't, he could lose round 2 and 3. Actually, I went through the scorecards. Never mind. I went through the scorecards. Kutalaba always has like a round in there. He always makes it like a 29-28 type of round. You could even take maybe split. I'm not going to take it, but I think that Kutalaba maybe makes it close. just with power and stuff, but I think C takes over and controls and dominates him through grappling. I think that Kutalaba gives up the position too much, even when he's on top. That C will find top position at some point. And then you could look at C into the later rounds, but again, they're not the greatest prices at 400 and 850. I think everybody's onto it. For example, what is C here on FanDuel? C sub 2 plus 490. Yeah, I'm not. It's not a crazy line that I need to go play it. It's possible, very very possible it hits. I think we'll stab decision and hope that he just survives. Maybe like a 29-28 type decision here. Okay, moving on. Andre Fili, Jose Delgado, right off the bat, I like this Delgado kid. He looks pretty good. Pretty wild on the feet, a lot of power. I think he finishes him. I think he starches Fili. So if I have to take a money line, I'd take minus 380. I think we do have some money line at minus 325. And then we don't have a method to finish. I might play finish or inside the distance. I think it's just the forward pressure of Fili. He doesn't like fighting off of the back foot too much. And I think Delgado has heavy hands. I think he has a great chin. I wanted to take like finish only, but it's super juiced. Yeah, it's minus 700. Let me see on Rivers. Just because Delgado looks like he's very hard to put away. And Fili does not. Finish only 625. FanDuel, let me just check. Delgado, 620. Yeah, it's looking at 650-ish, 600. So I don't know if we get to play that finish only. It's one of those things where I think he finishes him. It's possible he wins a decision, but we'll have to bet on finish, and if he doesn't, we'll lose here. But Delgado's juiced, and like any only line, right? Favorite to win by KO, huge favorite to win by submission, huge favorite to win by first round, moderate favorite to win by decision, and huge favorite to win by finish only. So we took money line. Again, it could be anything that he finishes him by. So I again, one of those things where you kind of have to lay the juice a little bit on the favorite, or you can take a spread minus 7.5 maybe, minus 190 still though. What is it? A same game parlay if I do this and the over half around, minus 210. I go 3.5 minutes. Oh, that's getting playable. Can Fili survive 3.5 minutes? Can Fili survive 4.5 minutes? Minus 120. Was this going to go up to? Yeah, that's a big difference. 30 cents, you get 15 cents back. Does Delgado get him out of there? This is not a bad play, but you're really hoping that Fili survives one round. I think he's such a hard hitter, and it's such a small cage that Delgado could finish at any point. But you do get some decision equity. So you fade round one, but you get the decision equity. So a little bit of pick 'em and choose 'em because you have to whatever. But yeah, he got starched by, look, see, he got, the Costa one was so fishy. It looked like he gave him the choke, literally like pushed his hand in more. Got starched by Ige round one. Got starched by Brito round one. If he's going to get him out of there, it's probably going to be quick. It's risky. But, you get some value. You turn your minus 375 favorite into pick 'em, but you have to fade 5 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to get there. All right, did I see the fight announcements? No, I did not. I didn't see it. Just the Dana White said he was going to announce all the 9 fights and stuff, right? So I have not seen him. Anything good? Anything big? I think I knew. Oh, fuck! It's 60-minute video. I'll watch it later. I think I knew a couple of them, but anything crazy? Probably not. If anything crazy would have been on the White House. Round one spread. What are we talking about? Delgado? Yeah, I like Delgado round one spread. I think I took it already. That was one of my the favorite ones to take was the round one spread. Because I think he could finish him. I think all that stuff. So minus 185 Delgado round one spread. Figgy and Song. Oh, that should be Song. Chimaev, Sean. Oh, for the belt? Depends on the line. I don't know. I think Chimaev mauls him, but depends on the line. Gabriel Bonfim versus Bilal. Yeah, I like Delgado. I might play some finish. I'm trying to find the best finish line. What is it here? Minus 160. It's 165. I think Rivers might have it. Yeah, I might play this finish, Delgado finish here, minus 137. Taliesin Teixeira is fighting Sergey Pavlovich. Oh. Guskov and Blachowicz rematch. Oh, the draw! The draw! Go play the draw now. Waldo and Volkov. Okay. Salkild and Benny Dariush. That was the late notice one, right? Somebody pulled out. Fuck, Salkild's gonna murder him. Yikes. Oh, okay, so they moved it. So he's ready. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's a showcase fight for him. I can't believe Benny's still fighting. Al Jones, yeah. Oh, yeah, and yeah, Torres was gonna, yeah. Torres was gonna fucking start him too. That's true. He's probably, I can't believe he just, whenever he's ready, just, just go out, get a couple of knockouts, get knocked out a couple of times, build up a pension or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna take some Delgado finish, I think. I think that's the best line. All right, moving on. Go by slow. Rakiki Hardwick. This one's fun, and I did break it down a little bit, but okay, so Hardwick, Rahiki's going to be okay. He's going to be the better striker, longer, faster, more powerful, all that stuff, right? So I think this round one line, I think it's a great line for Rakiki, right? I think he wins round one at a very high clip. The best thing that Harry Hardwick has going for him is that he's durable and that he can come forward with pressure and he can be in your face and stuff. I think I even saw a clip of him saying that he wants to come out and he wants to go for that fight of the night bonus, so just be in your face and stuff like that. So he's just going to create chaos. And Rahiki doesn't like that. He wants to be measured. He wants to be out range. He wants to, pick you apart on the outside and stuff. So if Hardwick really gets into his face, I could see him melting if he can't get him out of there. Rahiki could punch himself out early and then melt late and stuff. So I haven't played Rahiki money line yet. I do think that it's a side. I think that he's going to look really good until he doesn't, sort of thing, and he's going to start melting, sort of thing. Almost says problem with Hardwick, he's non-inspotum. Yeah, he doesn't have any power in his hands. He doesn't have big moments. Rahiki's striking defense is like non-existent, hand down, chin up, lack of head movement. So any kind of big puncher can really hurt Rahiki. But Hardwick doesn't have that power and stuff, right? So again, if I have to pick a side, I'm going to go with Rahiki for sure on the money line. I may end up getting to him like maybe in a parlay or something because it's still playable, and then maybe play Hardwick live at plus like 600 or something because he's going to get destroyed, and he might even get 10-8'd around one, and draw might even be live and stuff, right? But he could punch himself out. The other problem with Rahiki is that he's not very good on the ground either. He seems to be a fish rolling the wrong way, going for the wrong things and stuff, right? So he wants to be at range, and if Hardwick's in his face, he doesn't really get to offense. Maybe he offensively grapples because he doesn't like the pressure. Is there takedowns here? Yeah. Hardwick would be smart to grapple. I just don't know if he can. He just seems so lumbering and like, it just looks like a warm body out there that I don't think like when I was watching tape, I'll be honest, I said it in the breakdown there. I kind of compare him to Diaz, like not with the better box. Diaz has a lot better boxing, but the only reason I compare him is that he doesn't have power, he has volume. And he doesn't have, he's just in your face and he wears on you, he grinds on you, and it's like death by 1,000 cuts. So if Hardwick is going to win, Hardwick round 3, it's not a bad look. Even the round 3 spread is not a bad look. Like he might not even finish him, but he might, do enough damage and survive that, Rahiki punched himself out. So Hardwick winning round 3 is not a bad look because, that's how he probably comes back. So I'm hesitant to take like a 3.5. Yeah, he's Diaz without all the other Diaz stuff. I get it. But in this matchup, like it's a bad matchup for him, but it's one of those like he can make it really close, based on what we're seeing from Rahiki. But Rahiki searching him round 1 is not out of the question either. You have to watch the tape and see, he doesn't like leg kicks. He stays from the outside, so throw leg kicks. Like, what's the first thing that he should throw is leg kicks. Like it doesn't take a genius to see it on tape. Go right back to the well and see if he can take a leg kick now. And if he can't, then it's easy. If you like Hardwick, honestly, the plus 115 submission only line is probably the only way maybe I'd play him, or like a round 3 just for a sprinkle. But the thing is, Rahiki inside the distance, I thought about it, plus 100. I'm not loving it because I do know that Hardwick has a chin. I would be like even more inclined to take like Rahiki decision because it goes somewhat contrarian and nobody's really thinking about it, and everybody sees Hardwick as just a punching bag, and he is. And it's one of those things where actually I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to play decision. I'm going to play something over here that I see, and I'm going to have to wait for some other things to come out to play it. But if it goes to decision, I can see those flying over. So that's what I was waiting for. I think that's how I'm going to. Yeah. Shh. I'm waiting for it. Just don't move the lines, man. So that's why I haven't really touched the fight. I didn't want to play money line. I think he could start him right away. I think Hardwick on the money on the live line could be 600-700 after round 1, all that stuff. So again, I might throw him into a parlay, a money line parlay, because I think he rolls. But Hardwick, with the surprise upset, doesn't surprise me. I'm not. He's far from a lock, but he has skill for skill. Rafiki's 10 times better. It's just the actual nuances of the fight, going to the pressure, the backing up, all that stuff that Hardwick can make it interesting. But I think it's Rahiki. Yeah, maybe a spread. What's the 3.5 minus 6.5? Minus 165. The problem is, again, I think that he could lose round 3, and I don't even know if the 3.5 will cover. The over, I don't like any overs or unders because Rahiki could start him right away, especially if Hardwick's in his face pressuring like he always does. All it takes is one elbow, one knee, whatever, the leg kicks. Like, it would be silly to lay juice on an over 1.5 here. And then win by KO's juice. So yeah, I don't really know. It's probably Rahiki KO if I had to make a pick. But we're waiting for some other props here to play this fight because I think that's the way to go. All right, moving on. Charles Johnson, Bruno. This one was a pass for me. Charles Johnson's coming off of the KO loss to Alex Perez. I took him in that fight. I want to take him in this fight. I just don't know how he's going to look, how he's going to react. Charles Johnson's always a better live bet spot anyway, so I learned my lesson from the Perez fight. I'm not going to take him here. I'm going to wait till live, and I'll take him after round 1. And if he takes a couple of big shots and still survives, then great. His chin's fine. But if he goes out and gets starched by Silva right away, then I haven't lost anything. So, doesn't go at plus money here. You're talking about this fight? Doesn't go at plus 120. On paper, if I knew Charles Johnson's chin was fine, I would probably take goes to decision because I think he's pretty durable. I don't think his finishing equity is super high either. I know Bruno can hit hard and all that stuff. So, yeah, I haven't spent too much time on this. I just know he's coming off that. I think he's short notice on this fight as well. So again, I'm not willing to get super invested, especially Charles Johnson at juice. You could take some round props. Charles Johnson's almost always a favorite to win round 3. So that sort of thing. Sorry, round 3 this way. The minus 145. Or Bruno's, because Charles Johnson starts out so slow that you could take a shot on Bruno round one spread plus 250. That's not a bad look. Charles Johnson always starts out slow, and especially coming off of a knockout, I expect him to start out slow this one as well. I think I'm just gonna live bet him, and see how the fight goes out. I don't need to force it. I don't want to force it. So um, nothing much else here. Charles Johnson 2-3 is almost always a play. And that's about it. You could take Bruno KO1 plus 1,000 if you wanted a long shot. Like maybe Charles's chin is gone. Bruno hits hard as it is anyway. So maybe you get some value with KO1 and then everybody says, fuck, he shouldn't have come back 3 weeks after getting KO'd, and he gets KO'd again, sort of thing. So yeah, if you want to get creative and sneaky, that's not a bad way to go. Moving on. Yeah, the Prez one was bad. Like I was really hoping for him to survive that, because I know that he picks up rounds 2 and 3. I was hoping Perez might punch himself out there. It would be a whole different fight if he survives, but unfortunately he couldn't survive, and the referee called it off, and we actually got smoked that one, because I didn't think Perez was going to win by finish. I thought that he would get his wrestling going and then potentially win a decision, so we took some finish only, and we were pretty heavy on finish only, and we got burned on that one. So fool me once, not going to fool me again until I see it live, so I'll wait until live and see what he looks like. Petrino Asplund. Here's another one that looks like the Rafiki one, where Asplin's look good. I've tried to fade him in the previous fight there, and he came out with some crazy damage or crazy volume. But the takedown defense of Asplin is such a concern here that I don't think that I can take Asplin at all here. I think it's going to be Petrino or pass, or Asplin on the money line here. So I think at some point Petrino should be able to get into the clinch, get a takedown, and then once he gets the takedown, it should be all over. Asplin's such a fish off his back. He cannot get up. That I think Petrino sub has to be live. But then it could come from ground and pound and stuff, right? So I think he could finish probably rounds 1-2. I think he finishes early, but Asplin has one of those chins that don't go away. He can get hit, and but Petrino hits so hard, and a lot harder than anybody Asplin has fought. So yeah, it's one of those things where I just played the money line. I played the money line so far at minus 230, because it's possible he goes to decision, because he gets on top, he lays on him, he wears on him, and I think he wins like a dominating one. But the thing is, Petrino, his cardio is always going to be an issue, right? So Asplin into round 3, if he survives, then it could be a little bit dicey. So throws the 3.5 out the window, because I'm not confident that he's going to win all 3 rounds. I think that he can win rounds 1 and 2. So looking at these spread lines, that's what I would play here. Is Petrino wins round 1, rounds 2. Those ones are good lines. And then maybe if you wanted some value, you could take Asplin to win round 3. That's the only way I would maybe get involved, is the minus 1.5 Asplin round 3. Even Asplin to win in round 3 plus 1,800, or maybe some kind of like strike total, because if it gets to round 3, Asplin's probably getting some volume off and winning significant strikes and stuff by then. But prediction is that Petrino probably subs him within the first 2 rounds. So sub 1-2. Yeah, but the thing is, like, it depends. Petrino probably gets the mount, and then it's up to Asplin if he rolls and gives up his back and gets choked out, or he stays a mount and gets punched out, sort of thing. So it's hard to cap those situations, because I think that if I could bet Petrino gets the mount, I would. I think that he gets the mount, and then I don't know how he finishes him from there. Ground and pound or submission, anything's live. It really depends on what Asplin tries to do and doesn't give up. Right, so sub 1-2, 360, KO 1-2, 370. Yeah, you're looking at, you're probably, there's not much value to take the 2-3, honestly. You get maybe an extra $1, but I'd rather just play the method. And then now you see, now you have to guess submission or KO. Yeah, they're both good odds, but yeah. If you play submission, then you ground and pounds him. If you play KO, then you submit to rear naked choke, sort of thing. So, what is the line on rear naked choke? I don't think it's great. That can't be great, right? So, Petrino rear naked choke. I wonder if he does arm triangle. I gotta see if he has arm triangle. Because he might. I don't. Can you even get your hooks in against Asplin to get a rear naked choke? Aspen tries hard to get up, gonna give up so many bad positions. I think he gets mounted, and then from there it's Petrino rear naked choke plus 375. You can't take it. Petrino arm triangle maybe plus 800. Those are the only two ones I would. Yeah, does he even need it? No, he'll just sit on his back, and then it's probably over, sort of thing. So again, it really depends on if Aspen gives up and gives up his back. So. I think it's Petrino. I took the money line. It's a little bit safer. He can win a decision. He can win by KO. He can win by submission. So I didn't want to lose money. You can see all the lines are pretty similar. It's sort of dealer's choice at this point. You could get lucky and pick the right one, or just take the money line and not even sweat it. Yeah, that's all. I think Petrino's going to be a beast round 1 and 2. It's really just surviving round 3 if he wins a decision or putting him out there. So I like Petrino on the money line. Moving on. Tavares, Eric Anders. This line's coming in a little bit, so something to keep an eye on. I don't know why or who would be betting Eric Anders here. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me. Eric Anders has been dropped in the first round in his last 4 fights. So 4 knockdowns, round 1, every single fight. Yes, he's survived a couple of them, but it's not looking good. Like, I watch when he gets hit, and they're not even the biggest punches. A little couple of check left hooks. Chris Weidman dropping you, Marc-Andre Barrios dropping you. Those are like really bad looks and stuff, right? And I get like Tavares is old and stuff too, but Tavares fought Brischek and actually took some big shots there. I thought that the first stumble in round 1 was more of a stumble than anything. And then in round 2, you see that he went to round 3. It was a quick stoppage. The referee jumped in. Right away, Tavares said he was good. I thought he was kind of good there as well. But, getting dropped by Chris Weidman, Luke Fernandez, Jamie Pickett, and Christian Leroy Duncan. Those are some pretty bad looks. And Tavares has always been known as a decision machine. I think it could be a sneaky spot here for Tavares inside the distance or Tavares by knockout. I was expecting somewhat of a bigger line, 370. Yeah, it's not a bad stab, but Tavares goes to decision. Like when I saw the first fight, matched up right away, I said goes to decision. These guys are not finishers at all. They historically had been pretty durable, but as of late, you cannot trust the chin of Anders. I have a little bit more faith in Tavares' chin, so that's why I like the Tavares finish only. I think that he could finish. I think it goes to decision. It's a little bit better than his money. Like it's almost pick him from money line and finish only. So at that price, I'll take finish only for Tavares instead of money line. Anders does have a path to decision through cage pushing and just being aggressive and being, a little bit stronger and stuff like that. But it's probably Tavares, and it's probably Tavares by decision. But if he finishes him, it, wouldn't surprise me. Tavares KO 1. That might be a really sneaky one because it's only 850. Anders is getting dropped every single round 1. So if he's getting dropped here by Tavares and Tavares just happens to throw a couple more strikes and puts him out, Tavares might not be bad. Maybe in a milli maker or something like that. I might play 900 at Rivers here. Yeah, that's about it. I don't see a path really for Anders other than cage pushing. Tavares showed that he's okay in the fights. He still hit up. He can still take a punch. He can still throw back. He has nice low kicks. I think he can cruise to decision if he doesn't find his way there, right? So, I even considered like this Tavares. I'll keep an eye on the line. The Tavares plus 3.5, minus 3.5 there. Plus 3.5, yeah, minus 220. It's not the greatest line. But it covers you if he finishes him. The finish only is pick him. Oh, it's even plus 100 here on GK. Even Tavares first round only. This one's not bad at plus 100. KO only. I don't see other guys submitting each other. Yeah, some they're both real past their prime. I think Andrews talking about retirement and stuff like that. Fight ends by unanimous decision. Yeah, goes to decisions minus 185. Originally, I was saying like goes to decisions probably pretty clear, but I couldn't lay it and I couldn't trust Andrews' chin to hold up. But it's if I'm making a pick, it's Tavares decision. That's it. Moving on. What's next? Chris Curtis, Orabai. Mike Kitty Beck, Orabai. This is another one here. Just straight off the bat, just looking at it before I did any tape, I said goes to decision. Like both of them really durable. Orabai wants to get the grappling going, but Chris Curtis historically had been pretty good takedown defense. Chris Curtis on the feet doesn't kick, so he mostly just punches, and Orabai has taken massive damage and eaten it there. So all points, all ways sort of point to a decision. Sure, Orabai could crack, but I think comparing Hermansson's chin with Chris Curtis's chin and durability is completely different. Chris Curtis keeps that high guard and really hard to hit. He spars Sean Strickland almost every day, so they're in sparring sessions all the time. He's taking shots from Strickland. He's keeping that high guard, similar stance there. So I think that even if Orabai gets the grappling going and takes him down, Curtis survives the ground. And if it's on the feet, I think it's Curtis. Curtis can help. Orabai is pretty hittable on the feet there as well. If Curtis didn't look so bad the last fight, but I think the last fight is more about just not pulling the trigger, right? Not having a lot of volume, and not, he could lose a decision just because he doesn't throw, right? And that's the thing about Chris Curtis. You'd be so frustrated because he just stands there. He gets frustrated that people are moving. He's getting frustrated that people aren't giving him the fight that he wants. I could see him like defending like 18 takedowns here, so. Yeah, going to split decision with Max isn't a great look. Even, this Kopylov one should have gone to decision, but that was a stupid stoppage. Look at split. I think you're okay. We didn't play split for this one, right? Let me see what we took goes to decision, but we didn't play split. So maybe we'll get some split in. Let me see what the price is here. DraftKings winning method. To win by split 1100, 650, and what is the fight? Fight split is 400. Fight split is 600 here. Oh, I'll take some 600. And then Curtis is 1300. 11. Yeah, I'll take 600. Take it for small, $50 or something, but it's it's an extra bet, and it's conflicting style and stuff like that. Yeah, I like that. We already have goes to decision, so it doesn't conflict what we have. We'll take some fight ends by split decision. Plus, I think that line's off. Because I think it goes to decision. I think that Curtis spread plus 5.5 is good. I think obviously the goes to decision is good. I think the not inside the distance is okay. I don't know about finishes on either side. Submission has to be Orabai. First round probably, yeah. KO there. So yeah, Chris Curtis spread. Goes to decision, split decision. Money line. I think you're okay if you take Curtis money line, because at some point in the fight you're gonna be able to live bet Orabai closer to pick him, And you know, it could be takedown, the line flips, and then he's back up, and the line flips the other way. Takedown, the line flips, and then he's back up, the line flips the other way, sort of thing. So it could be a good live bet spot where we take both sides multiple times. We take up any kind of plus money, and then it gets to split decision, and then we're sort of laughing here. But I think market likes oral buy. I think Chris Curtis is a tough matchup here for him, but I'm okay with not a side and just goes to decision, and then that's it. Not really willing to take, you know, maybe you could take split. Yeah, Curtis decision, Curtis split in a long shot or something like that. But yeah, Humble's right here. I think the last fight he looked bad because Griffin was running the whole time. Orlby would bing the fight, and which works more to his style. Yeah, it is true that Curtis hates guys that move. He cannot move, and he gets so frustrated. He wants to sit in the pocket and just throw in the pocket, and Orlby will give him that type of fight. Griffin won't, you know, Hermanson won't, you know, these guys stick and move and outpoint him. He doesn't kick, so he can't get into range, and so yeah, I think this is more of a favorable matchup. It's dog or pass for me in terms of a money line, but I'll just play it. I'll just play a total and be fine with it. Moving on. Balaji Manu Sosa. This one again, I was very close, and I'm very close to playing Balaji on the money line. I think the line is a little bit wide. This is going to be two strikers fighting off. Both guys have power. Both guys have speed. You know, Balaji can't be this big of a dog in a striking match against Souza. Jasmeet says, "What about doesn't go to decision?" Yeah, yeah. If I had to pick a total, doesn't go versus go, I think doesn't go is probably fair. Minus 180. Okay, I could play that. Where is it better here on Rivers? I wanted to take Oki, but I know that he sort of fades a little bit. Sousa's, you know, the biggest thing that really impresses me is his cardio. To put on such a high pace, up and down with the grappling, to come forward and still have the cardio into rounds 3. I think that Sousa round 3 KO 2-3 has to be a play here. That's only plus 430, just because he, you know, he brings it so often. You know, he's always coming. Under 2.5 minus 134. Fight ends by KO. Minus 166 on FanDuel. What do we say it is on Rivers? Fight line doesn't go 167. Yeah, I think Oki can wrestle. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't surprise if Sousa tries to grapple either. I think the line's wide. I just don't know if I can play a money line yet. Yeah, I don't know. I'm stuck on this one. Not super confident. I think that Sousa has more upside, but I think the line's wide. Could be one of those value losers that you play him and then he ends up losing. He gets, you know, he looks good until he doesn't, and then he gets finished, sort of thing. Doesn't go is okay because again, you're getting a smaller cage. You're getting both guys striking, throwing hard. One guy's bound to go down. I might just play that and just call it a day. Doesn't go, or the under 2.5. One of those 37 cents difference from the under 2.5, then the doesn't go. And then I might play some Sousa round 3. I did play some round 3 spread. Same sort of deal where I like his cardio, his, you know, his pressure, that he should be a favorite to win round 3. Yeah, I'm not looking, you know, the under, even the under 1.5. 7.5 finish only, sub only. Nothing else really stood out for me here, so I want to take Ogi, but I'm probably gonna pass. Maybe just live bet it. Um, Lacerda, Sosa, I haven't gone full tape on this one, so I'm not going to force anything here. Eileen Sosa around 3. I don't think Lacerda, I think what I remember is that his cardio can be somewhat of an issue here as well. Um, so let me get back to you on the Lacerda one. Uh, Beatrice Mosquito versus Montserrat Rendon. Um, this one's interesting here because both girls are grapplers. Um, Mosquito's probably 10 times better grappler. Could be even the better striker. Rendon's not the best striker either. And she's just fought a lot of strikers coming into this where she can get some of her grappling going. So she doesn't have that path here, does Rendon. And she hasn't been taken down in the UFC, so I had to go back to her regional tape. And on the regional tape, she got taken down. She got mounted right away, and then almost finished. It was in round 3, so she ended up getting a reversal and getting back on top. I do not think that you're going to get that on Mosquito. If she gets that takedown, which I think that she most likely will, I think that she finds the finish here. And so Mosquito has like some pretty good entries, some good trips. Seems to be pretty strong, and I just don't think this is a big assumption. Is I don't think that Rendon's drilling takedown defense every day. I think she's more a takedown offense, trying to get the fight down to the ground. Maybe she has some get ups, but under Mosquito's completely different than under these strikers and stuff like that. So somewhat of an assumption here. I don't want to like get super hyped up about Mosquito because I don't think she's super amazing yet, but this is a cake matchup for her. So on the money line, I think she's okay. We took, I actually went back and looked at it. We had fucking Beatrice Mosquito ground KO 2-3 in that last fight. We were gonna win 14K or something like that, and she ended up like pounding her out, turning her, and then Alice Guerrero finally rolls over, gives up her back, and gets insta subbed here. So I think we might get back to the well here with some KO 2-3. She does have some nasty ground and pound. Rendon does grapple, so it's possible that she defends the submissions or doesn't give up the position because she knows she can get subbed, and then she just gets pounded out on top. So this Beatrice Mosquito 2-3 probably going to be into a long shot. I'll do like a 2-3 round robin or something like that, but I think she finishes her. So I took some finish. Doesn't go minus 180. I think the finish was a little bit higher. I don't think you can play any of these lines. Finish only minus 5,000. Decision only minus 360 still looks free to me. I don't even know how Rendon would win minutes. Maybe if she keeps the fight standing. Yeah, maybe. I guess she's not submitting her. I don't know. I guess she would have to stuff all of the takedowns and then be the better striker on the feet for Rendon to win. Or some kind of flash KO or slip on a banana peel and stuff like that. But you're getting some big numbers for KO, Mosquito KO. It's probably a sub, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's KO ground and pound. So again, you're picking between submission or KO. Whatever you pick, you're probably going to get it wrong. So just take finish and finish whatever inside the distance or something like that. And could she win a decision? Yeah, probably, but that's the risk that we take here. We have to take something because we can't lay the juice on the money line. So we take a shot on finish because we know Rendon's sort of a fish off of her back, or that she's probably outmatched her on the feet, and it probably gets there. Yeah, maybe we get a live bet spot or something like that. Mosquito minus 3.5. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not a bad play. It gets the money line down a little bit. What is the same game parlay if we do Mosquito? I have too many fucking things in my slip here. I wanted to see Mosquito and the over half round. Minus 340 brings it down a little bit. 3.5 minutes. 240. I'll tell you, we were on Mosquito and the other one, and then we were sweating that one. She smoked her. She could have finished her in round 1. So yeah, it's tough to play her because she's such a beast early as well. So I don't really know if I want to play overs and hoping that Rendon survives. I just really want the finish either way. I think I'm okay there. No, Elijah Smith, you. Grappler versus striker matchup. Honestly, I think that it probably is Elijah Smith. You know, he looks so explosive. Even when he gets taken down, you know, he gets put into bad spots. But he can work back up to his feet. Sort of just relies on athleticism to get back up and sort of thing. But Sue can make it grimy here if you like Sue. I like the plus 3.5 because I think that he can win round 3. You know, gut reaction was that it probably goes to decision, and gut reaction is probably Smith by decision. Yeah, the odds suggested as well. Plus 120. Not much to add here, but I do think that live betting here could be key because you know that Sue's going to want to grapple. As soon as he gets the takedown, this line's going to come down. Elijah Smith might come up. So I think, again, it might be a better live bet spot because I think that you're going to get, you know, after the first takedown, you might be able to get Smith closer to pick him than having to lay the money line because I know that Yu's going to grapple. I know that he probably gets a takedown. It's just whether or not you can get the Elijah Smith bet in before he gets back up to his feet. So we'll attack it live. If you like you could be sneaky and take like a U decision. But it's only plus 240. It's not even that great. And you're probably better off taking the money line anyway. Yeah, plus 200. Yeah, don't go with the decision. Never mind. Looks like one of those just goes to decision, close your eyes, and you'll be fine sort of thing. But Elijah Smith throws hard, fast, you know, all that stuff. U's pretty durable. They're both pretty durable. Maybe I'll add goes to decision with something and then not even care who finishes, and then we'll attack it live sort of thing. But yeah, not a strong position here. And then the last fight, man, we've been going on for an hour. I didn't think this would be this long. Pierre Rodriguez, Sam Hughes. We took split decision here. I think it goes to decision at a very, very high rate. And the problem is that Sam Hughes, well, both girls don't like really have round winning upside where they really put a stamp on the round. I think Piera Rodriguez has a little bit more of that damage upside because she likes that tie plum and she throws those knees, and I think that a couple of those knees could really make a difference in a round in terms of scoring. But you know, it's pick 'em for a reason, and you know, fuck, the over kept on getting hit. I was hoping to like parlay it with something there, but it's minus 500 now. Yeah, Piera decision, Hughes decision, both of those are very live. You know, you could take Hughes just because it's a little bit better money line wise, plus 175. I took split. I think that's fine. You know, I do lean Piera decision if I had to pick a side, but because the money lines are so close, you're probably just better off taking money line than trying to play decision because you know you're getting minus 115 compared to a minus 155. You're getting plus 130. Like just take money line, and if they finish, they finish. You could take Sam Hughes like a point spread because again, I don't think either girl finishes. Plus 7.5 is juiced. You know, Sam Hughes is probably a favorite to win round 3. So she could be a better live bet spot as well. She probably loses round 1 and comes back. Round 2 being the swing round. I think Piera Rodriguez could work in her takedowns, and then that would be a difference maker. Like that's basically, I'd see it as pretty even. But I see it, Piera Rodriguez working takedowns, and I think that she has a little bit more knees in the clinch that really can steal the visuals of winning the round. And that's how I think that Piera wins it. I think it could be close, or I think it will be close. It's just those minor things throughout the fight that's sort of in a 50-50. That was close. You know, both girls landed the same amount of volume. Oh, but Piera Rodriguez got 2 takedowns with 20 seconds of control. Oh, she got a couple of knees in the clinch, whereas Sam Hughes didn't and stuff. So that's like the tiebreaker where I give the edge, the small edge to Piera. But it's not confident read. I think it go either way. It's just I think that she has more upside for visuals, and that's it. Anything here surprised me? No. So I might pick a side just to pick a side to have something to cheer for, but I think we're better off just going live and taking any kind of plus money because I know Sam Hughes might get big plus money on the live line, and then we'll enter live or something like that and lose with a plus 250 Sam Hughes ticket to a split decision or something like that. Some bullshit like that. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna actually head out to put some of these plays in, make sure that I have everything. And again, I'm around on Saturday, so I will be here live betting with you guys. No YouTube show this week, so it's just me, and we'll shoot the shit. I'll be around. We'll bet all that stuff. So again, I'm trying not to force a lot of action here. You know, the pay-per-views, there's more props with takedowns and strikes and same game parlays and stuff like that. These ones here, I'll have more volume, but I won't force a ton of them, with the intention of being available and live betting there. So I hope that helps. A couple of long shot plays there. I'll put in. I did give you the bankroll builder. I'll build out a shoot for the moon coming up. Put in some plays as well, and then throughout the day tonight and tomorrow we'll finish it up, and then yeah, we'll make some money. We're on a little bit of a little run here, so hoping to keep that going, obviously, and all the best. So yeah, our units keep growing. You know, I like to see that the units go up. We started small, and that was always an issue, you know, trying to see if we can grow it, but it's growing up to 300 now, and could go up to 350, and then we can really start snowballing once those units start growing. So yeah, again, boys, thanks for hanging out. Message me if you need anything, answer any of your questions, and then I'll post the replay of this as soon as it becomes available. Cheers. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this type of content, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe. You get notified anytime we put out new content. Remember, for 2025, Fighting Stats is on an absolute record-breaking heater. We were up over 350 units. That's $150,000 just from betting on UFC. Now, if you take a look at this profit chart here, it wasn't one or two big parlays that got us there. It was consistent wins week over week, month over month. We put in our time. We put in the tape study. We looked at all the fighting stats, and we got there. The record speaks for itself. Now our exclusive Patreon members get access to our live betting watch party, where we watch and live bet on UFC together. That's an additional 100 units that we made live betting on UFC today. I tell you what to bet